Look, I'm going to tell you something that separates the winners from the losers in this world. It's not talent. It's not connections. It's not even luck. It's mindset. I didn't get where I am by believing my abilities were set in stone. That's amateur thinking. The pros understand that greatness isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, day after day, through deliberate effort and the right mental approach. Let's get one thing straight, a growth mindset isn't some feel-good, self-help nonsense. It's a strategic advantage. When you truly understand that your brain is like a muscle that gets stronger with use, you stop avoiding challenges and start seeking them out. You stop hiding your weaknesses and start working on them. And most importantly, you stop seeing failure as evidence that you don't have what it takes and start seeing it as the price of admission to exceptional achievement. I've seen it countless times. Two people with identical credentials, identical opportunities, one rises to the top, the other remains mediocre. The difference? One believed they could grow, learn, and adapt. The other didn't. It's that simple. So let me break down exactly how to apply this growth mindset to dramatically enhance your performance and accelerate your learning. Not because I think you need help, but because I see your potential, and I refuse to watch you sell yourself short. First, you need to understand what we're dealing with. A fixed mindset assumes your qualities are carved in stone. Intelligence, personality, creativity, you either have them or you don't. This creates an urgency to constantly prove yourself. If you fail at something, it means you lack the ability, period. A growth mindset, by contrast, is based on the belief that your basic qualities can be cultivated through effort. Sure, people differ in aptitudes, interests, and temperaments, but anyone can change and grow through application and experience. Now, I'm not saying talent doesn't matter. It does. What I am saying is that preoccupation with talent alone creates vulnerability. When you hit obstacles, and you will hit obstacles, if you believe it's all about innate ability, you'll crumble. I've seen brilliant people fall apart at the first sign of failure because they never developed the resilience that comes from valuing effort over outcome. Let me give you the playbook for implementing a growth mindset in practical terms. First, change how you think about challenges. Stop avoiding them, start seeking them out. The comfortable path never leads to greatness. When you find something difficult, that's not a signal to retreat. That's your brain building new connections, getting stronger. If it feels easy, you're not growing. I didn't become the best by handling cases I knew I could win. I took on the impossible ones, the ones everyone else was afraid to touch. That's where growth happens, right at the edge of your ability. Second, reframe failure. When you miss the mark, don't waste time with self-pity or excuses. Analyze what went wrong, extract the lesson, and apply it next time. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Each eliminated possibility brought him closer to success. I've lost cases. Not many, but enough to know that each loss contained the seeds of future victories if I was smart enough to study them. Third, put process over outcome. Yes, results matter. But obsessing over results alone is like checking the scoreboard without watching the game. Focus on mastering the process, on continuous improvement, and the results will follow. Fourth, embrace criticism. Not the uninformed opinions of people on the sidelines, but substantive feedback from those who know what they're talking about. Your ego is not your amigo. It will tell you to dismiss critiques to protect your self-image. Don't listen. Feedback is data. Data is power. Fifth, find inspiration in others' success instead of feeling threatened by it. In a fixed mindset, if someone else wins, it somehow means you lose. That's garbage thinking. In a growth mindset, others' achievements show you what's possible. They raise the bar for everyone. Now, let's talk about applying these principles specifically to learning. The difference between good and great often comes down to how efficiently you learn and adapt. With a growth mindset, you can accelerate this process dramatically. Start by recognizing that learning isn't passive. It's not about downloading information, it's about constructing understanding. When you approach new material, don't just read it or listen to it, interrogate it. Ask questions. Find connections to what you already know. Try to explain it to someone else. The moment you think, I don't get this, add the word yet. I didn't understand corporate tax law when I started. Nobody does. But I didn't let that initial confusion define me. I attacked it from multiple angles until it clicked. That's what separates the best from the rest, not how quickly they get it, but their refusal to give up until they do. Next, adopt deliberate practice. This isn't just repetition. It's focused, systematic work on specific aspects that need improvement with immediate feedback. If you're learning a language, don't just review flashcards, have conversations with native speakers who will correct your mistakes. If you're improving your presentation skills, record yourself, analyze your performance, and target the weak points. And remember, struggle is part of learning. When your brain has to work hard, that's when the real growth happens. Embrace the difficulties. They're not obstacles to learning, they are the learning. Let me tell you something else about high performance. It requires energy management. Physical condition affects cognitive function. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, these aren't separate from mental performance, they're foundational to it. A growth mindset extends to how you treat your body. You can't perform at your peak if you're running on fumes. I make time for exercise every day. Not because I'm vain, though looking good doesn't hurt, but because I need to be sharp. Physical strength builds mental strength. The discipline required to push through that last rep translates directly to the discipline needed to push through complex problems at work. Now, about dealing with setbacks. They will come. Guaranteed. The question isn't if you'll face challenges, it's how you'll respond when you do. With a fixed mindset, setbacks define you. With a growth mindset, they refine you. When you hit a wall, and you will, don't retreat into self-doubt. Instead, step back and reassess. Maybe your approach needs adjustment. Maybe you need more information. Maybe you need to bring in different perspectives. Whatever it is, the obstacle isn't telling you to quit, it's forcing you to get creative. I once had a case that seemed unwinnable. The evidence was stacked against us, the precedents weren't in our favor, and the opposing counsel was formidable. A lesser attorney would have advised settling. But I saw it as a puzzle to be solved, not a predetermined outcome. I went back to basics, re-examined every assumption, brought in experts from fields outside law to get fresh perspectives, and ultimately found an angle no one else had considered. We didn't just win, we changed how similar cases would be argued in the future. That's the power of persisting with a growth mindset. You don't just overcome the challenge at hand, you expand what's possible for the future. Let's talk about language. The words you use matter, not just what you say to others, but what you say to yourself. I'm not good at this closes doors. I'm not good at this yet keeps them open. This is too hard signals retreat. This is going to take some time and effort signals commitment. Monitor your internal dialogue. When you catch yourself in fixed mindset thinking, flag it and reframe it. This isn't about positive thinking, it's about accurate thinking. The truth is that humans have remarkable capacity for growth when they apply themselves consistently over time. Another critical aspect is your environment. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Their attitudes are contagious. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Find people who challenge you, who have skills you don't, who see things differently than you do. I make it a point to maintain relationships with people who are exceptional in areas where I'm merely competent. Their standard becomes my standard. Their insights become my insights. Their challenges become my opportunities for growth. Now, about intelligence. A lot of people think intelligence is fixed, you're born with a certain amount, and that's that. The science says otherwise. Neuroplasticity is real. Your brain forms new connections throughout life in response to stimulation and challenge. But here's where people go wrong. They confuse intelligence with knowledge. Intelligence isn't about what you know, it's about how you learn, adapt, and solve problems. And these capacities can absolutely be developed. Take learning strategies. Many people study inefficiently because no one taught them how to learn. They reread textbooks and highlight passages, thinking exposure equals learning. It doesn't. Active recall, spaced repetition, interleaving different but related topics, these evidence-based techniques dramatically improve retention and understanding. A growth mindset leads you to adopt these better strategies rather than blaming your poor memory when ineffective methods fail. Let's get practical. Here are some specific techniques to strengthen your growth mindset. Track your progress. Keep a journal documenting your improvement over time. When you feel stuck, look back at where you started. The evidence of your growth will reinforce your belief in your capacity to continue growing. Celebrate effort, not just achievement. Did you push through when you wanted to quit? Did you tackle something that scared you? Did you put in the hours to master a difficult concept? That deserves recognition, regardless of the outcome. Find the lesson in every experience. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What would I do differently next time? How has this prepared me for future challenges? There are no failures, only feedback, if you're paying attention. Seek challenges at the edge of your ability. The growth zone lies just beyond your comfort zone. If you're not failing occasionally, you're not pushing hard enough. Aim for tasks where success isn't guaranteed but is possible with stretch. Be strategic about developing your weaknesses while leveraging your strengths. Don't try to be good at everything, that's impossible. But don't ignore fundamental weaknesses either, especially those that create bottlenecks to your overall performance. I focus on being exceptional where it counts most, competent where it matters, and unashamed to delegate or seek help in areas outside these categories. That's not admitting defeat, it's being strategic about where I invest my energy. Another key aspect of the growth mindset is understanding the role of time. Excellence isn't achieved overnight. The media loves overnight success stories, but they're largely myths. What looks like sudden achievement is almost always the result of years of incremental improvement, much of it invisible to outsiders. I've been working on my craft for decades. The cases that made my reputation weren't my first. They were built on a foundation of countless hours of practice, study, and smaller victories. The same principle applies to any field. Expect the journey to take time and find satisfaction in the daily progress, not just the destination. Let's address a common misconception. A growth mindset doesn't mean believing you can do anything if you try hard enough. That's fantasy. What it means is understanding that your current abilities are not your permanent abilities. With focused effort and effective strategies, you can get better, often dramatically better, at almost anything that matters to you. I didn't enter this profession as a finished product. I had natural advantages, sure. But what separates me now from where I started is thousands of hours of deliberate practice, learning from both successes and setbacks, and constantly raising my standards. Here's something else people miss about the growth mindset. It's not all or nothing. We all have areas where we tend toward fixed thinking and areas where we embrace growth. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness and continuous improvement. I still catch myself in fixed mindset reactions sometimes. The difference is that now I recognize them for what they are, and I have strategies to shift my thinking back to growth. It's not about never falling into fixed mindset traps. It's about spending less time there and finding your way out more quickly when you do. Now, about applying this to leadership and influencing others. If you're in a position to lead, your mindset affects everyone around you. A leader with a fixed mindset creates an environment of judgment and evaluation. People hide their weaknesses and play it safe. A leader with a growth mindset creates a culture of development where people take risks, admit mistakes, and focus on improvement. I demand excellence from my team, absolutely. But I also make it clear that excellence comes through development, not demonstration. I don't expect people to be perfect. I expect them to be constantly improving. And I provide the support, feedback, and opportunities they need to do so. When someone makes a mistake on my watch, I don't ask, "How could you be so careless?" I ask, "What can we learn from this?" One approach shuts down growth, the other stimulates it. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in discussions of mindset, the role of interest and passion. Developing expertise in any area requires sustained effort over time. That's much easier when you're genuinely interested in the subject. A growth mindset helps you push through difficulties, but intrinsic motivation is the fuel for the journey. I didn't become exceptional at law because I thought it would make me rich or powerful, though those are nice side benefits. I did it because I'm fascinated by the intellectual challenge, the strategic elements, the human psychology involved. That genuine interest sustains me through the inevitable difficult periods that would derail someone motivated solely by external rewards. Find the aspects of your field that genuinely engage you. If you can't find any, you might be in the wrong field. Life's too short to pursue excellence in something that leaves you cold. Another critical point: growth doesn't happen in isolation. Seek mentors. Find people who are where you want to be and learn from them. Not just their techniques, but their thinking patterns, their approaches to problems, their standards. A good mentor doesn't just share information, they share wisdom that can shorten your learning curve by years. I had mentors who shaped my development, still do, in fact. No matter how far you go, there's always someone who can see things you can't, who has experiences you haven't had yet. False pride keeps mediocre people from seeking guidance. The truly exceptional are always learning, always growing, always seeking new perspectives. Let's address fear, the great enemy of growth. Fear of failure, fear of looking foolish, fear of finding out you don't have what it takes. These fears are natural, but they're based on fixed mindset assumptions. When you truly internalize the growth mindset, these fears lose their power. Failure isn't evidence of your limitations, it's part of the path to mastery. Looking foolish isn't a judgment of your worth, it's the price of entry for learning something new. And not having what it takes is a meaningless concept when you understand that what it takes can be developed. I still feel fear. Everyone does. The difference is that I don't let it make my decisions for me. I acknowledge it, understand its source, and then act according to my values and goals, not my momentary discomfort. Now for some advanced growth mindset strategies. Once you've mastered the basics, consider these approaches to take your development to the next level. Teach what you're learning. Nothing clarifies your understanding like having to explain it to someone else. The questions they ask will reveal gaps in your knowledge. Their confusion will highlight areas where your explanation, and possibly your understanding, needs refinement. I regularly conduct training sessions for newer associates. It forces me to articulate what I know intuitively after years of practice. Often, in preparing these sessions, I gain new insights into my own methods. Create systems, not just goals. Goals define destinations, systems define processes. A goal might be to master negotiation. A system would be a regular practice schedule where you role-play different scenarios, record and analyze your performance, study expert negotiators, and gradually increase the difficulty level. Goals can be achieved or missed. Systems continue producing results over time. Embrace interdisciplinary learning. Some of the most powerful insights come from connecting ideas across different domains. Study fields adjacent to your primary area of interest. The principles of game theory improved my approach to negotiation. Understanding psychology made me more effective in the courtroom. The more mental models you have, the more ways you can approach problems. Develop metacognitive awareness, thinking about your thinking. Regularly step back and assess not just what you're learning, but how you're learning. Are your study methods effective? Are you making the progress you should be? Do you need to adjust your approach? This higher level awareness prevents you from spinning your wheels with ineffective strategies. Finally, remember that the growth mindset isn't just about professional development or academic learning. It applies to every aspect of life, relationships, health, personal interests. The belief that you can grow and develop, that your qualities are not fixed but can be cultivated, is a powerful lens through which to view every challenge and opportunity. I apply the same principles to my personal life that I do to my professional life. Relationships require effort and growth. Physical fitness demands consistent work and progressive challenge. Even leisure activities are more rewarding when approached with curiosity and a desire to improve. The quality of your life is directly related to your willingness to grow, to step out of comfortable routines, to embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. A growth mindset doesn't just make you more successful, it makes you more alive. Let me leave you with this: the path to exceptional performance isn't a mystery. It's not about hoping you have the right genes or waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about embracing the process of growth, day after day, year after year. It's about falling in love with the journey of becoming better than you were yesterday. I'm not where I am by accident or luck. I'm here because I refused to accept limitations, because I saw challenges as opportunities, because I understood that greatness isn't given, it's developed. And if I can do it, so can you. Not because we're the same, but because the principles of growth apply to everyone willing to embrace them. So, what's it going to be? Will you settle for what comes easily, or will you commit to becoming exceptional? The choice is yours. But know this, once you truly adopt a growth mindset, what seemed impossible becomes merely difficult, and what seemed difficult becomes simply a matter of time and effort. And trust me when I say this, there's no feeling in the world like looking back at who you were and barely recognizing that person because of how far you've come. That's the gift of the growth mindset. It doesn't just change what you can do, it changes who you are.